Hey guys, Mark Holthe here. I'm recording in a little bit of a different spot here. The snow is drifting down around us. This is my truck here. You can see the snow is coming down. But I just wanted to step outside my office and just share something that happened yesterday with a consultation that I have. And I think you guys know lawyers usually get the call for assistance when people have tried to do it themselves, or they've hired some useless foreign agent or consultant who didn't know what they were doing. But you don't know, right? So in this case, I had a call with a couple in, well, let's just say a different country. And they didn't indicate in the consultation form what it was about. As soon as we got on the Skype call, they shared a letter that they received from immigration. And you guys are not going to believe what happened. The visa officer was simply asking for the reference letter, not a reference letter, sorry, a resume for the husband who was accompanying, so he wasn't the primary applicant. They wanted a resume from now, current, until back to the age of 18 years. And normally that wouldn't be an issue, right? It wouldn't be. But why would they be asking for a reference letter, which we all know, everyone, that you're not getting any points for the foreign work experience of an accompanying spouse? Zero. You're not getting points under the Federal Skilled Worker Program. You're not getting points under the Comprehensive Ranking System Assessment. So why would they be asking for this resume? Well, let me share with you guys the heartbreaking story that they told me. So, we all know there are tons of people out there willing to help you. There are forums, immigration forums, there are Facebook groups just like mine. Some are, there's some attempt to monitor them, the information. Others, it's just buyer beware. You just accept whatever the government is telling you. Not the government, but whatever the people on the site are telling you. Wow, it's so hard to even keep my mind focused here as I tell this story. But anyway, so what happened was they, on the reliance and advice of some good friends and some of our lovely immigration forums, realized that they didn't need to include the work experience of the spouse because there was no point. And besides, they couldn't get reference letters. The husband had probably just, I guess they probably couldn't get the reference letters because he was working for cash or for something along those lines. But here's the bad part. And you guys who have purchased my guide, who have listened to my videos, which granted, the information is not easy to find. Those of you who have purchased it know the strategy. You do not list any work history in the work history section of your EAPR and your profile for that matter for your spouse. You just don't. It says, do you have any work that you would like to receive, be assessed for the comprehensive ranking system, essentially. Well, ultimately what happens is we list no, and then you don't have to provide any reference letters because there is absolutely no need to include any work history for a spouse because you're not getting any points, okay? So here's the problem, and I want everyone to listen. This is so very important because I do not want you guys to make the same mistake. For some reason, they relied on some helpful friends, like I said, and immigration forums that were not vetted. They had no clue who these people were, to take one step further and actually list unemployed in the personal history section of the EAPR. So you guys understand what's happening here, right? They listed unemployed in the personal history. So you go through the whole process, you list, I don't have any work history to claim in the work history section, and then for all of that period of time, the last 10 years, they list unemployed. Now, the country was the same, the time that he was there was the same, but they listed unemployed. So as a result of that, of course, they filed the application, and then guess what happens? An officer takes a look and says, this doesn't make sense. This husband was not working at all for the past 10 years. So they send this letter. And that's pretty much where we're at right now. So what are the consequences? And I'll get back to how this happened in the first place, which just blows my mind. I never ever expected it would get this bad out there. in the internet and with the information that's being shared. But this couple now has this letter which asks them to provide the resume, the CV. And of course, what was my advice? My advice is fully disclose everything. Go out of your way. Even give them reference letters if you can get. Whatever you can. Pay stubs. Get whatever you can and disclose everything and explain how this happened. So how does this happen, guys? How? Because they have some really good friends who went ahead of them, who are already in Canada as permanent residents, who did the exact same thing and got it approved. Okay? They misrepresented on their personal histories and it wasn't caught. So guess what happens? All over internet land, everywhere, every single where out there, people are posting their own personal experiences that may or may not actually be correct. Maybe an officer didn't catch it, which was the case with their friends. So going ahead, why do we need to hire an immigration lawyer? Why do we need to hire a consultant or an agent or whatever, when we can just rely on our friends who did the exact same thing we did and are now happily permanent residents of Canada? So I don't know what to say, guys, other than it just absolutely breaks my heart, because what are the consequences? I'll tell you what the consequences are. Misrepresentation, and this is clearly misrep. There is nothing, there's very little that you can do to overcome this. This is entirely up to the discretion of the officer to determine whether or not they're going to accept all this other evidence that they're going to provide, fully disclosing, explaining how they made this mistake, this terrible mistake. The consequences are being barred 5 years from coming to Canada. Well, on the surface, that's horrible. But imagine if you're nearing 40. Well, who cares? Imagine if you're 30 or 31 and you're drawn at 442, for instance. Well, what's going to happen if you can't apply for 5 years? Well, if you're 30, that's going to be at least 5 times 5 points you're losing every year, minus 25 points. This family, if things don't go right, if the officer doesn't accept their explanation or show mercy or discretion and isn't satisfied with their explanation, then they're going to be barred 5 years. And they could lose forever their opportunity to come to Canada. So please, guys, please, and this isn't me like giving some emotional plea to buy my services. It has nothing to do with this. I created the whole stupid guide, all of that, not to line my pockets with money. I didn't do this, despite what some of the other immigration Facebook groups say, I just want to hoard all the people to myself. That's garbage. It's not true. The reality is I don't trust anyone. And when other agents or other consultants come in and start mining for work or offering helpful advice, even members in our own group who now have elevated themselves to the status of so-called experts, do not understand the law. And so they rely on past practice, past experience, which, like this couple's friends, they had no problems. They're immigrants, right? So it should work for you, right? Well, the reality is it doesn't. And in many cases, one person can cause unbelievable damage, horrible consequences for other people, for the simple reason that they did it themselves and it worked. So just listen to me. Listen to my 10 written steps on how to get your express entry. This is exactly what I did. And look on our group, guys. Over time and time again, over and over, there are people who land, and then everybody is just treating them like they're gods. If we follow their pathway exactly, it's going to all work out for us because it worked out for them. Well, this poor couple, they're going to keep me posted, but it is so unbelievably heartbreaking for me to see what has happened, all because they were trying to do what was right. They were honestly trying to make things simple, and they thought, we can't get the reference letters, so how can we list work experience that we can't prove? That was all that they were trying to do. But now, because of this simple mistake that they just did not understand, did not appreciate the consequences, now they could have their dream of coming to Canada, and I'm not trying to be overdramatic here, their dream of coming to Canada could be gone. So I hope you guys can appreciate my motives here. Do I need to feed my family? Do I need to earn a living as an immigration lawyer? Yes, this is what I love. I've chosen to do this. I make money because people pay me. That is my life. But you guys have no clue the extent to which I go to make sure I understand what I'm doing. I just got back from meetings in Ottawa with the Canadian Bar Association's National Immigration Section, of which I'm a table officer. I do that because I care. I'm not paid a penny for it. I gave up my whole week to try to advocate on behalf of my clients, which are you, to try to make the systems better, to try to work to create an immigration program here in Canada that's fair, that's just, that treats people equally. And I do that to represent not only the other immigration lawyers across the country, but all of you. So please understand that I'm not some selfish money-grubbing lawyer. And so with all of this being said, I recognize many of you guys out there may not be able to afford my legal fees. They're not cheap, and I make no excuses for it. And it's interesting, I dropped my full representation from $5,000 down to $2,500 recently. And amazingly enough, there was no difference in the number of people that hired me at $2,500 versus $5,000. So understand, guys, that you get what you pay for. And when you're relying on helpful advice from other people who are not immigration lawyers, and I make no excuses for that, you do not know what you're getting. And it could make the difference between you coming to Canada and not. So because my fees are high, and I make no excuse, but because they're high, I created that express entry step-by-step guide to doing it yourself. If this couple had paid I just finished an offer, 1 month access for $58, I think it was US, which is pennies. If you guys would just go on there, purchase a subscription and go through it. In 1 month, you can get out what you need. All of the answers, this couple would have avoided it because I would have explained step by step. I actually demonstrate how to complete the forms. I can't answer every specific question, and that's why I offer consultations. But I just wish that people would understand my motives, that they would understand everything I'm doing here is to try to help people, to protect people from this happening. So anyways, this weekend I've got my Black Friday sale, because this is all that you guys understand, is when I reduce the price, which it's worth every penny, and people are buying it right now at $497, full lifetime access, so they can have it for as long as it takes them to get through express entry. But that $497 that I charge for that course, people are paying for it now. But I'm constantly trying to make it more accessible to other people. So what do I have now? 50% off. I don't even know why I'm doing this, I'll be honest. Because people pay for it the same whether it's full freight or not. But you can go up in the banner image. You can go on my YouTube channel. Like, it's $248.50 US for full access to this course. And in this course, it can help you to avoid the vast majority of problems people fall into. Now, I do not claim it's legal advice. It's not. It's information. It's me demonstrating how to complete it. If you have issues that you're not sure, you can contact an immigration lawyer wherever you live, and they can give you guidance and direction. But that's why I'm here, guys. This is why I do what I do. This is why I have a passion for immigration. This is why all I want is just to protect people from this. This is where I get my satisfaction. So there you go, guys. This is Mark Holthe, and I didn't even introduce myself for those who are actually listening to this video, but Canadian immigration lawyer, ex-immigration officer, and former high school teacher. And I say that because that's what's gotten me into all of these teaching things. I love to teach. So go to the CanadianImmigrationInstitute.com, subscribe to the program, subscribe to that course, and I know it will help you. If you have questions that you just can't find anywhere else, don't trust the information on the internet. Call me. I posted all of those testimonials. You can go through the whole site. All of the Express Entry Law private Facebook group. You can go everywhere. You can look to the Canadian Immigration Institute Facebook page. There's I can't even talk straight. I'm so flustered. There's reviews, there's testimonials, if you need that extra assurance. But just all I want you to do, guys, for this one, remember, if you're listing your spouse's work history, you do not have to put it in the work history section. But you absolutely need to list everything in your personal history for the past 10 years in detail. And if you list it in your personal history, it is not going to result in you having to provide reference letters. All right? So I wish you guys just a wonderful, wonderful day. Hopefully this little teaching moment helps people. And in the end, thanks for being a part of this big family. Thanks for being a subscriber to the Canadian Immigration Institute YouTube channel, for being a member of the Express Entry Law private Facebook group, which is over 120,000 now. But if you act now before the end of Sunday, the 25th, that's when this Black Friday sale is going to be over, then you can access the guide at $248.50 for lifetime access. And if you want to purchase just a monthly subscription, it's $97 US. Get in, use it, and get out. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for listening to me. And I'm sorry if I got a little over dramatic and everything, but this is real life we're talking about here. And so, do immigration lawyers matter? Yeah, they do. Take care, guys. Mark Holthe, Canadian immigration lawyer, ex-immigration officer, and former high school teacher signing off. Take care.